Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 Mocks of the Week episode where we show off the coolest custom LEGO creations that people happen to have been building out of the week. And if you clicked on this video because of the cat stuck inside of a giant LEGO rocket ship, good for you. Like always, we do have a new custom build that is up in our web store. This week it is Bernard's Colonial Viper Mark II. It's a really strong build. I think the proportions are excellent. Definitely worth checking out the video and also checking out the web store to see what else is there. Like always, if you have sent in pictures of your own LEGO builds to be shown off, they will appear at the end of the episode during the fan mock creation section, and there's also an email in the description below to see how to send in your own pictures for next week or any other week for our Sunday video. So anyways, this isn't really in any particular order how we show off the 10 builds. I just kind of like to show off the coolest custom creations. Also, there were a ton of really good builds this week. I don't exactly know what was in the air at the end of October, who knows, but just in general, I feel like there was a higher number of really fun creative builds that I saw people coming out with in LEGO. So anyways, let's jump into the very first build. This is simply titled Happy Halloween, Wear a Helmet, and it's designed by Patrick Biggs. This is what I would say is the modern version of the Headless Horseman. He looks to be riding on a BMX bike. There's a little bit of extra fire around there. Kind of reminds me of Ghost Rider. And my personal favorite details about this build is definitely the LEGO logo on the white t-shirt in the middle, and also the build for those red shoes is really well animated. Looks very cartoony. Patrick Biggs has some excellently animated LEGO characters on his Flickr, and like always in this episode, I forgot to mention it before, but every single link to all the Flickr accounts for these builders is in the description below, and I highly recommend you go check out what's down there. These creators love hearing your feedback. So anyways, number 2, this is by far the best Chamber of Secrets mock I have seen. What we have here is the entrance or exit to the Chamber of Secrets with that giant stone cut mouth. A really interesting build for the wall on the cave with those different wedge plates. I really like that design. And then probably one of the most interesting and ambitious design takes on how to make a large brick built snake. The designer Robert Maier really did have an interesting idea. I think those are all little slices where you can see the studs are pointing out 4x4 on any particular side with slight variations of tiles and cheese wedge pieces. I think the round shape really does come through with this design approach, and ultimately the grandeur and intimidation of the beast is captured particularly well. This is called The Resonance by Trotta, and I'm so surprised I never ran into this guy earlier, or maybe I did and I forgot. But this ship that we're looking at right here is not just built from an excellent designer, but Trotta really has a particular type of style when it comes to his spaceship builds, and he seems like the ultimate expert in brick built angles. It looks like he can match up just about any brick built wall with another, and you wouldn't have a single gap of space left there that looks maybe just a little bit out of place. All of the hard cut angles you see here are seamless, and you'll notice that this is definitely a build technique that he has been perfecting for a very long time. Also, the color combination and just composition of each ship has a certain kind of creative tinge. I don't really know how to describe it, but once you look through the rest of the ships, you're really going to be able to get a very distinct sense of style here. I like the symbols that are also built into the wings, and I'm so glad to have discovered such an interesting builder that makes such amazing spaceships. Okay, moving on. If you have been paying attention, this is number 7 in the lineup, and the title of the build is Chocolate Box Cottage by the designer Fullplate. We've been following this guy for a while. It's an excellent picturesque scene of lots of lush bushes and plants and flowers everywhere, and a fun, quaint little build that makes up the cottage. Particularly the reason why I chose it, and I don't know why I always find this so interesting, but I chose this build because there is a new design for a roof that I haven't seen anybody try to do before. I almost always like showing builds off that take something you've seen a million times and add a completely brand new creative twist. Granted, we may not have ever seen this particular thatched roof design because it just requires an insane amount of bar pieces that pretty much most builders wouldn't actually have just lying around in their collection unless they're super hardcore builders like Fullplate. And all right, here is number 6 in the lineup by MiniGray. This is Cat X LEGO. At least that's the title for the picture that you see this kitten sitting inside of this rocket type ship. It almost looks like a rocket ship that is also maybe a jousting capsule. If this is some kind of sci-fi device based on a thing from a TV show or a comic or something, please let me know in the comment section below. What I do know is that this designer actually had it for a T-Rex build from before, and I think we can all say that we're happy he started experimenting on live animals. Kudos to those back fin connections, because it looks like the kitten might actually have a decent amount of weight to it, and the model isn't cracking on the back, which I feel like might be the first part to go. I have a feeling this kitten's gonna grow a bit, so I would love to see a 6-month update, and maybe he can fit the cat into a larger cosmic jousting machine. Okay, let's move on. I remember watching the movie as well as some of the subsequent episodes from the TV show that followed. This is from Stargate SG1, and it is the F3 Zero Form Daedalus. I don't actually remember the name of this ship. I don't even remember the ship from the TV show, but I'm so glad that this builder decided to put this massive thing together. Part of me was tempted to say that this was just a late build from Shiptember. I know it's been over a month now, but you know how those things take an extra bit of time. According to the description from the designer, Rat Dude, this has been an undertaking, or at least an ambition, since the year 2012, and apparently it's not done. As far as I can tell, the detail on this ship is absolutely amazing, and I consider it an incredible feat of design for this guy to have built the ship with these lateral panels of bricks. Structurally, I think this technique is much more difficult for larger ships like this. So, okay, let's move on to the next build, which is actually a Star Wars one. And just very quickly, I wanted to say that this micro Gungan city is an excellent build. Personally, I've been getting into more micro stuff recently because I think there's a certain amount of creativity that just really grabs me. So I was extremely excited when I found this particular Instagram account by Elemental Lego. This build here is just one example of many very creative designs. Personally, I like the use of that old horse mask piece used as a skull for what looks like a massive sea creature. And regardless of the fact that it's a Star Wars based build, I think the concept of the bubble city looking so much like an underwater bubble city in a micro scale is a feat in and of itself. It's a very impressive thing to do. I highly recommend you check out other amazing little micro builds, a lot of them Star Wars themed from this guy. And then getting into the top 3 of the week, we have what is now my favorite wearable piece of Lego that I've ever seen before. It's from Brickitecture Mock Industries. We have Venom. This is the wearable helmet, at least. It looks amazing. I know if it was closed off without the opening there and you just had it resting as a stand, it would look really great, but it's an amazing extra plus that it actually fits what looks like comfortably onto the head. And the designer made a little video. He's reading off some lines. Looking at the video there, you could see his jaw moving with the mask, and it looks pretty seamless. He must have some type of rubber band or some sort of tension point there to make it work. But all in all, this is the best piece of wearable Lego I've seen in my life, and I also love Venom, so plus. And then forgive me if somebody else has made a giant Lego Hobbiton before, and I never found it, but I think this is the first really big Hobbiton mock I've ever seen, and it is amazing. It is built by Jake Hansen and Cole Blood, built on top of 16 32x32 base plates. The scale of this build is absolutely massive, but in order to earn a place in the top 3 for me, scale can never just be the only factor. The best part about this build is the fact that when you look close up at any part of this build, it feels like a highly detailed little piece of a vignette. I'm pretty sure this is Bilbo Baggins' house. I love the design for the wide trunked tree. It feels very cartoony. So this is an excellent collaborative build. And then we have something that really blew me away for the week. This incredible build is titled The Sacred Fortress by the designer Mihai Marius Mihu. Now, there are a lot of good reasons to like this build. Right off the bat, I would say the castle is designed excellently. I think it was a good choice to make it at a somewhat shrunk down scale. Not only does it give a bit more grandeur to this giant creature, but I also believe that the scale lends itself well to all these fun shapes that the buildings are actually made out of. The bricks just kind of work when you take a closer look at all the little rooftops, columns, and archways. But really though, what actually blew me away, of course, was this giant red creature that apparently is sleeping dormant over the castle. It's not an attack scene, but instead like a giant ancient sleeping creature. Taking a closer look at the build itself for this red being, it certainly reminds me of Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth creatures, definitely Miyazaki's Ancient Warrior from Nausicaa Valley of the Wind, and there is an unmistakable similarity between H.R. Geiger's Xenomorph from Alien, especially with that longer forearm. If you want to see more incredible and often disturbing creations from this guy, I would highly recommend checking out the Flickr. In general, you're going to be seeing things coming from, I think, a little bit more of a darker creative place, but ultimately you might be glad that you checked it out. Remember, in the description below there's also links to plenty of other builders, many of which aren't actually labeled, so they'll be just kind of fun mystery links. And now it is time for the custom fan mock creations of the week. Also in the description below is the email and how we'd like you to send those pictures over to us if that's something you'd like to do. So thanks a lot for watching this top 10 mocks of the week, everybody, and now it is time for the fan creations. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time at BrickVault. Hey everybody, just popping in really quick, wanted to let you know that we have a LEGO web store, www.brickvault.toys, where we sell the PDF step-by-step instructions for some very high quality LEGO MOCs. It's definitely worth checking out. The revenue from the web store helps support us here at the channel, as well as the incredibly talented designers that work so hard to make these amazing LEGO builds. So if you want to check that out, it is www.brickvault.toys. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.